Getting back into a relationship you once walked out on can be difficult. There are many things at stake here, your heart being the most prominent of them all. If it did not work out the first time, what is the assurance that it would this time? Keeping in mind the circumstances or the cascade of events that eventually led to or warranted the breakup, it is natural to want to be cautious before deciding to go back to a previous relationship. But sometimes, without even planning to, we find ourselves repeating the same patterns and returning to old habits. So, even when you have sworn not to have anything to do with that person, you might not be able to help longing for their presence again or thinking about the times you spent together. Still, there are so many things to put into consideration when thinking about getting back with an ex. What were the things that led to your separation? Have those circumstances changed? When you weigh the pros and cons of being in such a relationship, what do you come up with? Do you still love them? If you do you want them back? Is the feeling mutual? Based on your current observation, what is the probability that you would not end up going your different ways again? And most importantly, what does God have to say concerning that relationship? Breakups could occur due to several reasons, one of the leading causes being infidelity. Some breakups could be mutual, while others could be the result of one person's dissatisfaction. Perhaps needs are not met, attention is not given, there is no communication, or the relationship is filled with so much strife and conflict. Relationships are not expected to be all smooth and easy. However, certain needs and expectations should be met. Otherwise, it renders the relationship joyless and unfulfilling. It is not uncommon to find that a partner thinks all is well and okay, while the other is starved of love and needs more from the relationship. When both parties are mutually unsatisfied, it becomes difficult to run a smooth relationship and a breakup is imminent. You would think that a person's quality of life would become better after a breakup, but that is not usually the case. Most people often find it difficult to move on from the previous partners. The connection that has been built over time becomes difficult to break, and sometimes there is a longing for a second chance, especially when it was their actions that led to the breakup. There comes a time when people get tired of playing games and are ready to settle for the real thing. Perhaps you have come to realize your mistake and would like a second chance. Maybe you have even tried to get into some other relationships and it did not work out. Everywhere you look, you see your ex and cannot stop comparing every other person to them. Now that you are no longer together, you realize how good you had it, and somewhere deep inside you are hoping for a second chance, knowing you cannot find a substitute for that person. Whatever the case may be, getting back together will require both your consents. How do you know if your ex has moved on or not? How can you tell if they are still interested in you and would like a second chance for you to work things out? Pride might be keeping you from apologizing, but if you are serious about the relationship, you should be able to set aside your ego and do the needful. On the other hand, fear of rejection or being taken for granted might make you drag your foot even when you know what you want. So you most probably want to be sure before putting yourself out there again. What then are the signs that your ex wants you back, and how do you know if God approves of that relationship this time? The following are pointers that your relationship stands a chance. Number 1. They are always contacting you. Once a relationship is over, one of the first things that people do is cut off communication with that person. This is the healthiest thing to do to get over someone easily. So, if your ex is still calling you or sending random messages, it might be that they still think of you and want you back. For some, the communication line might grow cold for a while, and all of a sudden, you get a call or message and communication is revived. Be careful though. One random call or text could also mean that they are bored and need someone to talk to at that moment. However, if the calls persist, it might just be an indication that they are not over you and enjoy talking or being with you. The type of conversation you have will also determine their interest. Although some may hide under the guise of just wanting to be friends again, you can easily tell after a while and from the frequency of the communication with you that they want more than that. Number 2, they show interest in your life. Once communication has been initiated, what other things they discuss? Are they talking about how much they miss touching you or the meals you prepare for them? Or do they want to know what is going on in your life, your family, or career? Obviously, the latter shows real interest in you as a person. If your ex wants you back, they will become more curious about your life. It may be that they have grown and learned from past mistakes. So, they take a real and renewed interest in you. It is like starting all over again. They are cautious this time and are careful about the things they say to you and how you perceive them. They are also very interested in knowing about your love life. Who are you seeing now? What do they look like? Some are very upfront about it and would ask you directly. Others may be subtle, always checking your status on social media or asking your friends about you. In some cases, you find that you keep running into them, maybe at your favorite spot, a friend's party, your local grocery store, and others. It might seem to you like one of two things. Either those meetings are purely coincidental, or they are stalking you. As long as they do not go out of the line in trying to be with you, you can sense their need to be with you and consider giving them another chance. Another thing is that they act jealous around you and cannot stand seeing you with someone else. Some might even go as far as trying to sabotage your friendship with other people. This is extreme though, and you might want to be careful making a decision. Number 3, they apologize for past wrong. In some cases, a person could recognize that they were wrong and apologize for their mistakes, just so you could get along as friends. However, it might also be that they want to make things right and get back to you. Apologizing can take different forms. It might be in a heart-to-heart discussion, in which they are usually upfront about their intentions and you do not have to guess. In some instances, they try to correct the wrong they have done. For example, where they have previously criticized and talked you down, they start giving you compliments on everything. They might even surprise you with a gift or two as a peace offering and pay special attention to your needs. The message they are trying to pass across is that they have realized their mistake, have changed, and are ready to treat you right. Nevertheless, you should be careful so you do not fall for another sweet talk, as they might just try to lure you back into a toxic relationship. If, on the other hand, they are sincere, it might be worth giving a shot. Number 4, they are enthusiastic about helping you. Another sign that your ex is still interested in you is the enthusiasm they show in helping you. Usually when people break up, they try to stay as far as possible from each other, limiting their contact to the barest minimum. Even if they offer to help, it might be as a result of guilty conscience. So they do it as a form of compensation for hurting you. In this case, it is obvious they just want to pay their debts and move on. However, if they are eager to come to your rescue when you need them, they might be looking for a way to come back to you. They still want to be your Prince Charming, saving the princess in distress. Their eagerness to help is a sign that they still want to be there for you, especially if they tell you not to hesitate to call on them for anything. Many times we make mistakes out of immaturity and unpreparedness in a relationship, while in other instances, some people enter into a relationship not knowing exactly what they want. They just do it out of peer pressure, or just to fit in. Or they look for trivial things like beauty, wealth, fame, and butterflies, only to discover later that these are not important factors for a successful relationship. However, God overlooks these times of ignorance and gives us second chances, even when we have messed up at the first. So, if your ex wants you back and you feel the same way, you should keep aside your ego and pride and accept them. Also, avoid making the same mistakes you did previously. Instead, learn from them. Your bond should become stronger from the reconnection and you should be able to do things right, having learned from your previous mistakes.